Before the video starts, I quickly want to mention or say rest in peace to Kentaro Miura. If you do not know who this man is, he is the creator or mangaka of Berserk. Easily one of the greatest manga of all time, in my opinion, the greatest of all time. But he, on May 6th, the man passed away from heart conditions, and we didn't find out until May 19th, which was the night or morning of Tuesday and Wednesday, around that time. But yeah, it's just crazy to think about that he passed away at such a young age, like 54, man. Um, Personally, he was born a decade before my parents were born, so it's crazy to think about someone like him who created such a great story can die at such a young age, and it's just crazy to think about how, like, we joke about how, like, people like him and Togashi take hiatuses, but like it's necessary, because the brutal fact is people who work in the manga industry have to like work a certain amount of tiring hours and get little to no chill back or like rest time. So it's critical for them to get these breaks or hiatuses, if you would call them like that. And I'm pretty sure Togashi even said that like he has back pains all the time, whether he's drawing and stuff. And yeah, without breaks, we want to have a high tier quality manga that we do today. And I just wanted to say rest in peace and thank you to Kentaro Miura. I give you and your family and loved ones my condolences. On with the video. We start the chapter with seeing Mai and Maki being dragged across the floor by Ogi. And he's basically saying how they're both failures, and the only reason why Nabito was elected head was because he was the more superior one, and that his child basically Naoya was better than Mai and Maki. And it's basically implied that Ogi wasn't really better or worse than Nabito. They're basically on the same level, but the thing that made them different was their children, and it's basically implied that Ogi couldn't become clan leader because of Maki. Then Nabito basically had Naoya, who inherited his technique, which I still can't wrap my head around. Projection sorcery, it's just hard to comprehend. But we see him, Ogi basically throw Mai and Maki both into this little dungeon thing, and it's basically surrounded by cursed spirits, and they're basically like failure, or like don't throw them in here, or not delicious, or something like that. They're failures basically, and then he basically leaves them out to die to them, and says that whenever they're hungry, they'll like come out and eat you basically. So whenever Ogi leaves, Mai is actually conscious, and she puts her hand over Maki's heart, and is basically like, Maki, your heart's still beating. It's like beating and stuff. So she basically, I know this is good. I know whenever the official like translations come out, because right now it's like Saturday, May 22nd. The translations haven't like officially come out, but it's basically implied that Mai had like kissed Maki to throw them into like this weird dimensional world on like a beach. So Maki basically wakes up in it, and Mai is sitting right next to her, and she's like, "You give the general gist of my curse technique, right? But I can't make large or complex things. I also have a wound from when he cut me. If I create this, I'm gonna die. See, you're on your own now. Hey, Mai, wait." And then she's basically like, I had it figured out quite a long time ago. The reason why twins are a bad omen is basically one inherits the technique and one is basically left out. In the case, Mai inherited the technique, but Maki basically got the heavenly restriction from it, and Mai basically was the worst of the two. And it's basically inevitable. It's implied as it's inevitable, basically. And she says, "You are me, and I am you. Even if you give it your absolute best to become the strongest, it's useless. But I have no intention of becoming strong. I can use a curse technique, but you can't, so there's no point. That means as long as I'm around, Maki, you'll always be half-assed. Okay, I get it. Come back. I'll leave you with just this. Abandon everything else. I'll take everything with me, including the cursed energy. But promise me one thing. Please destroy everything. And I mean everything. Big sis. And they basically turn into whenever they were kids in the flashback. And it seems to be implied that in this world, Mai is pretty much giving up her life just to make this one cursed tool. And we'll see no later how powerful this thing is. But Maki wakes up in the real world is basically like Mai, wake up, Mai, and we're being swarmed and by the cursed spirits again. She's like, wake up, and then Ogi hears something, and he turns around to see the doors open. It says, the curses have vanished. What happened? My body still remembers the feeling of fear that I had tried to forget. And without a doubt, the hypest moment of this chapter was seeing Maki like walk out of the dungeon with this cold expression, with her like right eye closed, slashed, and seeing the reflection of Toji in her, and that like freaks out Ogi, and it's basically implying that Maki is like at a Toji level right now, which I'm assuming is special grade, if because he was able to take down his sophomore Gojo whenever in his second year of Jujutsu Tech, basically. And basically, Ogi releases curse technique, release curse technique, strong flame, which seems to be a flame technique, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, I shall once again burn you to the core. And then Maki basically, come, come you failure, and then we basically see his half of his head just get sliced off, and it was just a perfect angular cut. And then we see Maki with his cold like expression in her eyes. It says, "My, let's start." That was a chapter, and yeah, I basically did not expect Mai to die this chapter, or even Oogie for that matter. But I mean, like, best out of the year has to go away, I guess. But yeah, I thought this chapter was really good. Subverted my expectations. Gege is a monster for doing this, bro. But like, they're basically on a killing spree. Masamichi, now Mai, who's next? Yeah, this chapter was really good. I'm giving it like a 10 out of 10. The Maki Mai talk on the beach was absolute just greatness. And yeah, tell me what you guys saw of the chapter below. And yeah, if you made this far, I appreciate it. Consider subscribing, leaving a like, even sharing it with a friend. And yeah, it has been your host, Blind, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.